Kofi rejected his 3 newborn daughters, said they were bad luck, that girls were useless, that they couldn't carry his name or protect his legacy. For years, Kofi prayed for a child, and when his wife finally gave birth to not 1 but 3 beautiful daughters, he didn't smile. He didn't hold them. He walked out of the hospital, heart cold, pride burning. To him, daughters meant failure. They'd marry, leave, and forget him. He wanted a son, an heir, not 3 girls he saw as weak. So he abandoned them, and the woman who loved him. But what Kofi didn't know was that the children he rejected would one day become the very ones he needed most. This isn't just a story about fatherhood. It's about pride, pain, and the powerful revenge of the forgotten. A test of love, loyalty, and what truly makes someone family. So sit tight, because what happens next will break your heart, shock your soul, and make you ask, who really gets to define a child's worth?
Kofi fell to his knees from the bed, crawling, sobbing like a child. Forgive me. I was blind. I was proud. I let my name become more important than my heart. I threw away diamonds, searching for dust. Nneka stood tall. She was older now. Wrinkles of wisdom lined her eyes. Her hands were calloused from labor, but her voice? Steady, strong. You didn't throw away diamonds, Kofi. You buried seeds, and they grew without you. He covered his face and wept. She stood for a moment, then walked over and placed her hand gently on his shoulder. One by one, they entered. Adora first, then Chioma, then Ngozi. Each one paused at the doorway, unsure. He turned and saw them. Time slowed. He saw in their faces his own eyes. Nneka's grace. And something else. Light. He fell again. My daughters. I am sorry. I failed you before you even had a chance to fail me. They didn't speak. He cried harder. I was wrong. I thought you couldn't carry my name. But you carried it further than I ever could. I thought only sons mattered. But I see now. I was the one who didn't matter. Adora knelt beside him and said, We don't need your apology to succeed, Papa. But we needed it to heal. Then Chioma knelt too. Then Ngozi. And all of them embraced the man who once couldn't hold them. He wept. They forgave. They paid his hospital bills. They took him home, not to punish him, but to show him what love really looks like. They didn't remind him of the past every day. They let the future speak louder. They made sure he ate, healed, laughed again. Even Mame Acua, now old and feeble, cried when she saw Nneka again. I wronged you, child, she whispered. You were never the curse. I was. Nneka kissed her forehead. Rest, Mama. It's over. And for a while, peace returned. Kofi sat under the mango tree one evening, watching his granddaughters play. They looked like their mothers, full of light. He whispered, Maybe God is a woman after all, because he gave me daughters who became better than sons. But that peace wouldn't last forever. One rainy night, the phone rang. Ngozi picked it. A police officer spoke. Is this the daughter of Mr. Kofi Manu? Yes. We have a young man here. He was caught trying to break into a pharmacy. He said, He's your brother. Silence. Kofi heard from the couch. He stood slowly. His eyes darkened. My son, he said. He's back. At the police station, the young man sat with bruises on his knuckles, blood on his lip, and fury in his eyes. He looked up, saw his father, and laughed bitterly. So this is the new family, huh? These are your perfect daughters. Kofi stepped forward. Come home, son. We'll fix this. The boy spat. There's nothing to fix. He stood, eyes wild. You wanted a son? Now deal with the one you got. He walked past Kofi. But as he reached the door, he turned one last time and said, By the time I'm done, you'll wish you only had daughters. And he vanished into the night. The rain didn't stop for 3 days after the call. It drummed against the roof of Kofi's small room, whispered against the window, seeped through cracks like it too had something to say. Kofi sat on the edge of his bed, staring at the floor, his walking stick trembling in his hand. His son's voice echoed in his head like a curse. You'll wish you only had daughters. Nneka came in quietly and placed hot tea on the stool beside him. He's hurting, she said gently. Kofi didn't look up. He is fire, Nneka. But I gave him the matchstick. That night, the sisters sat around the dining table. They didn't argue, but they were divided. Chioma was the first to speak. He's dangerous. We can't invite him into this house. Ngozi frowned. But he's our brother. He's not, Chioma snapped. He's a stranger with our father's blood. That's all. Adora was silent. She looked at her hands, those same hands that had treated their father, that had touched the scar on his forehead, stitched his wounds. If we turn him away, she finally said, then what makes us different from the man Papa used to be? The room fell quiet. The next day, Kofi went to find his son. He followed whispers from the market to the alley by the betting shop, where a group of boys smoked and laughed in the shade. One of them stood out, tall, lean, angry in the eyes. His name was Kojo. When he saw Kofi, he hissed, "You again." Kofi didn't flinch. "Come home." Kojo laughed, long and loud. "You think I want your scraps? Your daughter's pity? Your tears? You're my son. I was your son when I cried in fever, and you were too busy buying baby shoes for your new wife." Kofi's mouth opened, then closed. "I failed you," he said. "But if you stay out here, you'll die." Kojo looked away. "I already did." Kojo returned, but not with his bag. With his anger. He said nothing to his sisters. He wouldn't eat with them. He wouldn't look Neka in the eyes. He smoked on the back steps. Came home late. Shouted in his sleep. One night, Ngozi found him pacing in the hallway, breathing heavy. "You okay?" she asked. He turned sharply. "You all think you're better than me, right? The golden daughters? The trophies." Ngozi didn't move. "No one thinks that." "Shut up," he growled. "You lived your whole life proving to him that girls were enough." "Well, guess what? I don't want his approval. I want what's mine." "What do you mean?" "The land. The house. Everything. He chose you. Now I'm choosing me." The tension became fire. Chioma wanted Kojo gone. "He's trying to poison this home," she told Kofi. But Kofi just looked tired. "He is still my child. If I throw him away again, I may not live long enough to be forgiven." Neka tried to reach him with stories, with food, with prayer. Nothing worked. Until one night, she found him crying in the hallway. "I saw my mother in a dream," he whispered. "She was drowning, calling my name." Neka touched his shoulder. "You still carry grief." "She died because of you," he said bitterly. Neka didn't flinch. "She died because of bitterness. Don't let it take you too." It happened on a Wednesday. Kofi was out. The sisters were working. Kojo, left alone in the house, went into Kofi's room. He opened drawers, pulled out old papers, land documents, letters, photos. He took a match from the kitchen, lit it, just one, then dropped it on the floor. He watched the fire crawl, slow, then fast. Something in him smiled, then panic. "What am I doing?" He grabbed water, towels, but it was too late. The fire spread. By the time the neighbors came, smoke choked the compound. The back room collapsed. The only thing that saved the house was the rain. They found him outside, coughing, crying, burnt on one arm. He kept saying the same thing. "I didn't mean to. I just wanted to scare him. I just wanted him to see me." When Kofi returned, he stared at the blackened doorway of his room. He didn't speak for a long time. Then he walked to his son, knelt down beside him, and said, "I see you now. I see your pain, and I still love you." Kojo cried for the first time in years. Kojo began to change, but slowly. A boy who had built himself from pain doesn't become whole overnight. But something in the home was shifting. The sisters didn't smile at him yet, but they no longer avoided him. Kofi began rebuilding the burned room. With his hands, slowly. Then one night, as they sat on the veranda, Neka turned to him and asked softly, "What if the boy becomes worse again?" Kofi answered, "Then we begin again, as many times as it takes." And just as they were about to sleep, Ngozi rushed outside with her phone. "There's been an arrest," she said. A boy matching Kojo's face. He was seen in another crime scene. Everyone turned to look at Kojo. He stood, face pale. "That's not me." That was his alibi. But she was gone now. Vanished. The police didn't believe his story. No witness. No evidence. Prepare for trial. And so, he was arrested again. Chioma stood in the courtroom. Kojo's lawyer, not just his sister. The judge was cold. The evidence, blurry, but heavy. The prosecutor pushed hard. "This boy has a record. A history. He lit a fire in his own home. This is not redemption. It's routine." Chioma stood and raised her voice. "And yet, after that fire, he stayed. After everything, he tried to change. We do not bury people alive just because they once lived in dirt. The room went quiet. Kojo looked at her. For the first time, he saw something different in her eyes. But his eyes, full of fear, said something else. Absolutely. We've reached the final arc. The part where the story's soul is tested. This is where truth comes for everyone. Where forgiveness is stretched, legacies are redefined, and a family must decide if blood truly binds, or if love must make a new way. Let's continue. Night fell like a thief. Ngozi's phone screen glowed in the darkness as the video replayed again. A blurry boy in a hoodie smashing a store window. The police claimed it was Kojo. The timestamp was just last night. Kofi looked at his son. Eyes swollen. Burn scars still healing. Hands clenched. Was it you? He asked softly. Kojo stood silent, breathing hard. Chioma stepped forward, sharp. You're already on probation, and you're back on the streets causing trouble? I didn't do it. Kojo snapped. The camera says otherwise. I said it wasn't me, he shouted. He turned to Kofi, then Neka. You think I'd do this again? After everything. Neka didn't move. Her eyes narrowed, but her heart was torn. Then tell us where you were. Kojo hesitated. I was with someone. Who? Adora asked gently. Someone from my past. You won't like it. The letters never stopped, and neither did the waiting. Word spread. People in a dumkrum, a Bremcase, and even across the river began whispering. Kofi's son went mad, then wise. They say he's building wells in the north. No, I heard he's in prison again. Neka raised 5 children with nothing but pepper soup and prayer. Kofi would hear them, but he never corrected them. He just smiled. Let them talk, he told Neka one day. They talked when I fell. Now let them talk while I rebuild. One night, 2 years later, the wind howled louder than usual. Neka stood by the kitchen window, a spoon in one hand, her heart restless. Then she heard it. A knock. Not timid, not rushed, just steady. She opened the door slowly, and there he was. Soaked, taller, slimmer, a small scar above his right eyebrow. But the eyes? Still Kojo. They stared at each other. No one spoke. Then he fell to his knees. I didn't know how to come back. I didn't think I deserved to. Neka bent down and lifted his face. Home isn't earned, my son. It's given. She pulled him into her arms. The next morning, Kofi saw him first. He didn't say a word. He just opened his arms. Kojo ran into them, grown, but still needing his father's chest to cry on. The girls? They didn't hug him right away. But Chioma cooked jollof that evening. Extra spicy, the way he liked it. Ngozi handed him her favorite hoodie to wear. Adora put a small key on the table. Your room is still yours, she said, smiling. For the first time in years, they all sat around one table. 5 children. 2 parents. 1 home. A month after his return, Kojo started his own small workshop with the help of Kofi and Ngozi. Not carpentry like his father. Shoemaking. If I can mend souls, he joked one day, maybe I can help mend souls too. People laughed. But they came. His shop was small, a shed near the mango tree. But it was full of life. Old women brought slippers. Young boys came to learn.